Beloved child, a truth that was once concealed is gradually stepping into the light, not to crush your heart, but to release you from what has quietly worn you down for far too long. I draw near to you in this moment with the gentleness of a protector, yet also with the seriousness necessary to keep you from continuing to turn away from signs that have appeared repeatedly. You have sensed that something is not right within a relationship that once seemed deeply close. There have been beautiful words that did not agree with actions, eyes that avoided yours, unusual silences, and a heaviness that kept returning whenever you tried to convince yourself that everything was fine. You dismissed those impressions because you did not want to think badly of anyone, because your heart always searched for reasons to forgive, and because you feared that if you looked directly at the truth, what you cherished would no longer retain its former shape. But, beloved child, truth does not come to steal your peace. It comes to end a false calm that has forced you to live in uncertainty. I know you have been more patient than many people could understand. Whenever the relationship became tense, you blamed yourself and wondered whether you were too sensitive, too demanding, or not compassionate enough. You adjusted the way you spoke, minimized your needs, and endured matters that should have been discussed clearly. There were nights when you lay awake with a heart full of questions, while the person near you still made you feel distant. You did not want to become suspicious, so you chose to believe explanations, even though small details continually contradicted one another. I do not condemn you for that loyalty. You loved with all the sincerity you possessed, and you hoped that the other person was offering the same. Yet, loyalty is beautiful only when it walks beside truth, when it requires you to deny your perceptions, continually defend harmful behavior, and remain silent before what is exhausting you. It is no longer healthy love. It has become self-abandonment for the sake of preserving an image reality no longer supports. Perhaps you are waiting for a clear confession, undeniable evidence, or a moment when this person finally reveals everything they have hidden. But you do not need to construct a secret story or conclude that someone has betrayed you without reliable facts. What I want to teach you is not to live suspiciously, but to stop ignoring what can be observed clearly. Look at the consistency between words and actions. Notice whether this person respects your boundaries, accepts responsibility after hurting you, or continually turns every fault back upon you. Recognize whether your conversations bring both of you closer to truth or merely leave you more confused, ashamed, and doubtful of your own memory. Discernment is not guessing motives in darkness. It is calmly examining repeated patterns and allowing truth to be established through concrete behavior. I protected you through many seasons, not by preventing every person from disappointing you, but by continually awakening your ability to recognize what is no longer safe. Dreams, uneasiness, or a tightening in your chest may reflect hidden concerns, former experiences, or signals your mind has quietly recorded. Do not rush to call every feeling an absolute revelation, but do not mock it either. Use what you feel as an invitation to observe more carefully. Ask clearer questions, and seek truth through healthy methods. When you combine intuition with reason, compassion with boundaries, and faith with verification, you will no longer be easily deceived by a sweet appearance, nor will you fall into fear that causes you to see betrayal everywhere. The person for whom you once wept may have carried dishonest parts, unaddressed fears, or choices they did not want you to know about. But the responsibility to tell the truth belongs to them, not to you. You cannot force someone into honesty by loving them more. You cannot heal a lack of integrity by sacrificing additional peace. If something must be confessed, a mature person will accept responsibility without blaming you, minimizing your pain, or demanding immediate forgiveness so they can feel comfortable. A genuine apology does not exist only in tears or a trembling voice. It is proven through change, transparency, and different choices maintained over time. Do not allow one emotional moment to persuade you to restore trust before safety has been rebuilt through action. I do not want truth to turn you into someone bitter. If an idealized image of another person must collapse, allow it to fall in the light instead of attempting to repair it through excuses. You have the right to grieve the person you believed they were, the future you imagined, and the time you invested. Permit yourself to cry without shame. Yet do not use grief to conclude that you were foolish or unworthy of love. You acted according to what you knew at the time. Another person's dishonesty does not make your sincerity shameful. The lesson is not that you must stop trusting everyone. It is that trust should be given gradually, allowing consistency enough time to prove what words cannot guarantee. Some relationships do not destroy you through one dramatic event, but wear you down through many small things. You begin questioning your own judgment, apologizing for mistakes that are not yours, and feeling exhausted, even on days when there has been no argument. Your confidence slowly weakens because you must continually guess what the other person is thinking, while your legitimate needs are treated as unreasonable. If you recognize yourself living this way, understand that something must change. Love does not require you continually to diminish yourself in order to preserve calm. It does not force you to choose between truth and someone remaining. A healthy relationship can pass through disagreement, but both people must possess the willingness to repair it. If you alone are continually trying to rescue everything, it is no longer balanced partnership. My child, I stand before you like a shield, not to plant fear of someone secretly trying to harm you, but to remind you that you possess the right to protect your mind, dignity, and future. Slow down before making a decision. Do not confront anyone while your emotions are too intense. And do not publicly reveal every suspicion to people who may make the situation more chaotic. Record specific incidents. Speak directly when you are calm enough. And listen to the answers with both your heart and discernment. If you feel unsafe, controlled, or repeatedly caused to doubt your own reality, seek a trustworthy person or professional support. Strength does not mean enduring everything alone. Sometimes strength means allowing another person to help you see what you have stood too close to recognize fully. You do not need to perform any online action to prove that you are ready to receive truth. No button, comment, or subscription determines whether you will be protected or loved. Your genuine response lies in refusing to turn away from what has become clear, daring to ask questions, and honoring the answers even when they differ from what you hope to hear. Declare your readiness by no longer compromising with uncertainty. Demonstrate maturity by refusing revenge and humiliation, while also refusing to let another person continue crossing your boundaries. Your calmness will be stronger than a loud argument, and a decision made through clarity will endure longer than any reaction born from anger. If the truth reveals that the relationship can still be repaired, allow restoration to proceed slowly, with boundaries and shared responsibility. Do not return all your trust merely because you remember the good days. If the truth reveals that you need to leave, leave with dignity. Do not become a judge. And do not take upon yourself the role of rescuing someone who refuses to change. You can forgive without returning. You can wish them peace while still closing the door. You can honor what once existed without denying what it has now become. Releasing is not failure. Often, it is the moment when you stop sacrificing the future in order to protect a past that no longer exists. Beloved child, these words have not come to destroy your belief in love, but to purify the way you love. I want you to understand that love is not recognized through perfectly timed words, a gentle appearance, or tears shed when truth is in danger of being revealed. Love is recognized through honesty, accountability, respect, and a lasting sense of safety built over time. You do not need to continue living within a fog that causes you to lose direction. Allow truth to enter every place you once feared to examine. What is sincere will remain standing in the light. What is false will gradually reveal itself without your needing to chase or force it. I am here to remind you that whatever the truth may be, it will not destroy you. You passed through many painful seasons and became wiser. Not so that you would continue living in suspicion, but so that you could choose what is healthier. Trust the value placed within you. You deserve a relationship in which honesty is not something you must beg for. Respect is not a reward, and peace does not appear only when you remain silent and endure. The veil is being lifted, not so that darkness can consume you, but so that you can see the doorway leading out. When you cross it courageously, you will understand that the truth you feared became the very thing that returned you to clarity, freedom, and the dignity you should never have lost. This is why I have come to you, not merely to offer a few words that make you happy for a moment, but to announce that a profound shift is beginning within the place where you have carried heaviness for too long. I know the weight that often rests upon your chest when a new day begins. As though the moment you open your eyes, you must pick up everything left unfinished from yesterday. I know the emptiness you try to fill with work, conversation, and busyness quietly returns when every sound has faded. But beloved child, this is not your permanent condition. An old lock is being removed, not through noise, but through your growing realization that the Father never ignored you. He saw you on every day when you believed no one was watching. He heard even what you lacked, the strength to speak. And now he is leading you away from a life in which you continually waited for another sign before daring to believe you were loved. When you awaken tomorrow, your outward circumstances may not immediately change, but I want you to notice the small transformation within. Perhaps your breathing will become a little deeper. Your mind will no longer run immediately toward the worst possible outcome, or you may suddenly feel calm enough to face something that once caused panic. Do not despise these gentle signs. True restoration often begins when one small measure of peace enters a place once occupied only by fear. That peace then grows as you nourish it through truth, rest, and healthy choices. You do not need to force yourself to feel strong or pretend that every wound has disappeared. Simply recognize that pain is no longer the only voice within you. Another voice is awakening, gentle yet steady, reminding you that you are allowed to live without continually preparing for another attack. I know you once wished there were one simple action that could immediately open the door to blessing. You may have heard that pressing a button, typing a word, or performing a public sign would cause heaven to regard it as your agreement. But listen with discernment. The Father's favor cannot be purchased through a gesture, and His love does not depend upon whether you interact with a piece of content. No button possesses the authority to determine whether you are seen or forgotten. You may press like if these words truly strengthen you and you desire them to reach others. But do so freely. Not because you fear losing something good if you fail to act. Faith does not live in the movement of your finger. It lives in the way your entire life responds to truth. The agreement the Father seeks is far deeper than an outward symbol. It is saying yes to healing by no longer returning to what repeatedly wounds you. It is agreeing to enter peace by quieting voices that plant fear and making time to listen to what is happening within. It is trusting provision by honestly managing what you possess, completing your responsibilities, and refusing to use scarcity as a reason to despise yourself. Genuine agreement is also seen when you forgive without returning to abuse. Love while preserving boundaries, and continue hoping without forcing every door to open according to your wishes. Each of these choices creates a clearer path for peace, wisdom, and maturity to enter your life. If you want to write a word of affirmation, you may use it to remind yourself of today's decision. But do not believe that a typed word will force a miracle to draw nearer. The Father does not require you to prove your faith before a crowd in order for Him to hear you. One sincere whisper in a quiet room is more precious than thousands of words spoken only from fear of missing a blessing. If you say, Amen, let it mean that you agree to live according to what is right, rather than merely waiting for circumstances to change. Let the word carry a specific decision. You will care for yourself more faithfully. Stop chasing approval. Ask for help when necessary, and no longer allow the past to hold power over you. When words and actions meet, faith becomes a lasting source of strength. You do not need to synchronize your voice with angels through mechanically repeated phrases. What causes the realm of light to rejoice is not that you typed the correct word, but that you stepped out of fear and began living in truth. When you stop calling yourself abandoned, an old cycle loses power. When you stop returning to someone who looks for you only when they need something, but disappears when you hurt, you protect the dignity placed within you. When you courageously examine your finances, health, or relationship honestly, instead of avoiding them, a genuine road of restoration opens. This is true activation, not a few minutes of emotional intensity, but courage transformed into small, consistent, and faithful action. I want you to understand that a miracle does not always take the form you once imagined. Sometimes it is financial help arriving at the proper moment, while at other times it is wisdom that keeps you from repeating a decision that caused scarcity. Sometimes it is a new person entering your life, while sometimes it is the strength to leave a relationship that is no longer healthy. At times, the miracle is an opening door, while at others, it is a door closing before you enter somewhere that would wound you more deeply. Therefore, do not search only for great events. Notice the way your thinking is being renewed, the way you respond more calmly to what once provoked you, and the way you increasingly choose what produces life rather than what merely feels familiar. Tonight, create a quiet moment not to force heaven to act, but to stop running from what needs to be heard. Put down your phone if necessary. Breathe slowly, and speak what is most honest within your heart. You may admit that you are tired, that you have waited too long, and that sometimes you no longer know how to believe. You may also express your willingness to release former ways of living, receive guidance, and fulfill your own responsibilities. Then remain still a little longer. You may not hear an audible voice, but clarity may gradually come through a peaceful thought, a decision you need to make, or the realization that you no longer have to carry everything alone. Do not turn a sacred moment into a transaction in which you perform something to receive a reward. The Father's love does not operate as commerce. He does not withhold goodness until you press the correct button or speak the correct sentence. He desires a genuine relationship in which you draw near, not only when you need something, but also to be known, healed, and transformed. The greatest shift is not the immediate fulfillment of every need, but the end of living like someone who must beg to be noticed. You are invited into trust, where you know you are loved even while waiting and can still act wisely before seeing the complete result. Therefore, beloved child, if these words have touched you, allow your response to take place first within your heart and through your way of living. You may share, press like, or leave a comment if it comes from gratitude and a desire to strengthen others. But do not do so from pressure or fear of losing your portion. What truly belongs to you is not so fragile that it depends upon one gesture. The Father sees the unspoken yes, recognizes trembling steps, and values one small but sincere decision above every noisy display. Say yes by resting when exhausted, leaving what weakens you, and trusting that peace is being formed even when no one else can see it. The shift began not because you pressed a button, but because you chose no longer to live beneath the rule of fear. From that choice, a new path will gradually open, deep, stable, and impossible for any outside voice to steal. You are being led out of a prolonged season of delay in which you believed every door had closed because of an invisible judgment against you. I know there were times when it seemed as though an accusation went before every effort, causing what should have opened to stop at the final moment, and opportunities within reach to disappear without explanation. You watched others advance along roads that seemed effortless, while you had to work twice as hard merely to remain in the same place. On certain days, you wondered whether you had done something wrong, whether I no longer heard your prayers, or whether some mark from the past was quietly determining your future. But today, I want to stop that condemning voice before it builds another home inside your mind. You are not a forgotten case file, not someone destined for failure, and not a person required to pay forever for things you did not cause. Imagine a courtroom in the darkness, where every accusation once placed upon you is brought into the light. The accuser attempts to rehearse every time you stumbled, exaggerate your shortcomings, and use delay as evidence that you are unworthy to move forward. But before the accusation can be completed, the judge's hammer falls, not to condemn you, but to end the authority of lies that followed you for too long. Records written in shame, fear, and self-blame begin losing their validity. What was once used to imprison you within helplessness no longer possesses enough power to control you. Light does not need to argue with darkness for long. The moment it appears, it reveals what is true and what existed only because you believed it. The first judgment declared over you is this: The unexplained season of delay must begin ending in the way you think. Choose and move. I am not promising that every door will open simultaneously in one moment, but I am ending the cycle that causes you to approach every opportunity with the expectation of failure. In the past, even when something good came near, you prepared yourself to lose it. You entered meetings fearing rejection, began new plans while already expecting collapse, and treated every slowdown as proof that the future opposed you. This way of thinking caused you to surrender many times before the proper moment arrived. Now I am removing the habit of interpreting every obstacle as a sentence. A delay may simply provide time to correct your direction. A closed door may protect you from an unsuitable place. A vanished opportunity may make room for something healthier that you cannot yet see. You must also release the comparison that quietly eroded your faith. You watched less prepared people receive positions you desired and saw others achieve results more quickly, even though you had worked longer. Then began doubting your own value. But your journey is not measured by their speed. Some things arrive quickly, but do not remain. Some positions appear to be advancement while concealing a cost that is far too great. Some results attract admiration, yet leave the person possessing them exhausted. I do not want you merely to obtain what you requested. I want you to become mature enough to preserve it without losing peace, integrity, and the people who matter. Therefore, stop interpreting slower as inferior. In some seasons, I build foundations so deeply that you believe nothing is happening. Yet those foundations will enable what is new to remain standing when it appears. I know you once believed some curse had locked your progress. You remembered painful statements spoken within your family, patterns repeated through generations, and similar failures appearing in several people. Then feared that you would never escape either. But you do not need to live obsessed with the idea that your destiny is controlled by a secret from the past. What others once said may have caused wounds, but those words do not possess the right to become unchangeable law over your life. Old patterns may influence the way you think, love, or manage money. But what has been learned can also be relearned. What has been passed down can also be stopped. You are not powerless before your family's history. Every time you choose truth instead of concealment, responsibility instead of blame, and peace instead of chaos, you close an old door and open a new road. Perhaps the greatest opening is not some mysterious secret, but unacknowledged wounds continuing to direct your choices. Someone once abandoned may cling to an unhealthy relationship from fear of loneliness. Someone raised in scarcity may spend or hoard from panic. Someone repeatedly belittled may chase achievements merely to prove their worth. When these wounds remain untreated, they resemble doors through which former cycles enter. But you do not need to fear them. What is needed is light, honesty, and courage. Name the pain truthfully. Seek appropriate support. Establish necessary boundaries. And stop using spiritual language to cover what genuinely needs care. I am leading you away from the mindset of someone continually waiting for an outside power to break every lock on their behalf. Release begins when you recognize what you can still choose today. You can change a habit. You can end a commitment that is draining your strength. You can learn what is necessary. Address a debt. Seek advice. Apologize when wrong. Or leave a place that continually causes you to diminish yourself. Each action becomes a declaration that the old accusation no longer governs your life. You do not need to wait 21 days before beginning to live differently. The moment of release always begins when you stop agreeing with a lie and follow what is right before you. Do not allow anyone to persuade you that you must listen to a complete series of declarations. Remain until the end of a piece of content, or perform a ritual before blessing can be given. I do not withhold goodness because you have not completed an outward action. Genuine reception does not lie in being held through fear, but in understanding and sincere agreement. You do not lose what belongs to you because you missed a sentence or a number. What I want you to receive today is freedom from manipulation, panic, and the belief that destiny can be stolen through one small oversight. Love does not imprison you through threats. Genuine guidance makes you clearer, calmer, and more responsible. My child, the hammer fell within your deepest place when you decided no longer to live as someone condemned. Old records continue existing only when you open them each day. Read them again, and use them to explain every disappointment. Allow them to become ashes. Stop compiling a list of rejections and calling it evidence that you were not chosen. Stop gathering closed doors into a judgment against your value. Learn from the past, but do not build your home there. I am giving you a new decree written in light. You have the right to continue. Rebuild. Choose differently. And believe that the coming years do not need to repeat those that have passed. The season of delay begins to end when you stop delaying yourself. Complete what you repeatedly promised to begin. Stop waiting for permission from people who never understood your calling. Prepare for the new door by becoming someone capable of entering it with integrity. I am illuminating what was unclear, weakening the cycles that held you back, and showing you that the future is not frozen by the past. You are not cursed, forgotten, or sentenced to remain forever in a hallway of waiting. Lift your head, preserve peace, and move forward. The first judgment has been declared. The old no longer possesses the authority to continue writing your story, and you are free to begin a new chapter through discernment, courage, and faith, no longer bound by accusations that have lost their power.